Hello, fellow Taurus. How are you today? Um, I'm very excited and curious to do this reading. So today we're gonna work. Let me just bring just a few of my cards closer to me. So today we're gonna work and talk about how, in the present moment, because I'm also a Taurus, shadow self is blocking or creating far greater than necessary challenges that can hinder you, us, me, on our path. Okay, for those not familiar with the term, so your shadow self is the aspect of you that you may have trouble recognizing as you because of shame or guilt or fear, and because it usually corresponds to a pattern or a set of habits and behaviors that are so encrusted into who you are that maybe only people from the other side have this greater ability of, man, you're doing this again. Why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you repeating this pattern? And it's a part of ourselves that is unconscious, that it requires greater process of understanding and learning and gaining conscious, so you can move on and become a better person and learn. Usually there's huge lessons in our shadow self, and our shadow self likes to act freely, so it corresponds to that aspect of the psyche that in psychoanalysis they call the id, or Freud called the id, that it's your impulses, your urges. It has a lot to do with the five senses, and Taurus is the sign of the five senses. We embody that Venusian qualities. That's why we like food, we like comfort, we like beauty. We have a great sense of aesthetics, and I think when every nectar can turn into a poison if it's too much. Okay, it's okay. It's okay to have a good sense of aesthetic and value beauty, but if you value beauty more than morals in one person, you're probably gonna get into trouble, because that's no criteria. It's not a good criteria. And of course, it's good to enjoy good food, but if you put your happiness on eating that specific quality and amount of food, like this and like that, you're putting yourself on a cage. Like, I'm only happy when I eat so and so at the restaurant so and so, or when I buy this, or when I cook this for myself. And if that doesn't happen, I start to feel bad. It's an addiction. Food can be an addiction. Sugar is an addiction. So today let's look into this shadow aspect. Oh, we have company. Hi, Lucky. Hi, Lucky. Hi, Lucky. Sorry for the doggies love interruption, but it's good, because now it reminded me this analogy that, imagine the character of dogs. They're more loyal, more prone to be obedient, to do tricks and fetch that stick for me and sit and give me your paw and all those things that usually dogs are taught to do, and you can hardly teach it to cats. So imagine your super ego. That would be your the aspect of your personality where your moral lives, where the right and wrong, the black and white lives, and that would be like a dog. And then you have cats on the other side. That could be your your impulses, your urges, the aspect of yourself that you think you can control. Maybe you understand morals in an intellectual way, but then you need to, prove them to your higher self through direct experience. And the shadow self work is not here for you to judge yourself and to punish anything anyone can think, do, or feel. It's human because you are human, and probably, most likely, you're not alone in it. Other people before you thought and felt and did the same nasty shadow things. And many of these patterns, sometimes, to give it a context, they can be learned. They can be passed on through generations until someone has the ability and internal resources to be more aware and more conscious. And when you are conscious, you cannot unsee, who you are, who part of you is. And if you don't like it, you get to change it. Okay? Let's go to see a little bit for my bull gang. Usually, just to talk a little bit about Taurus. I know sometimes I really have long introductions. You can skip them, or maybe I'm not your reader. All good. Taurus shadow self can be stubborn to a fault, as we know, and the stubborn in Taurus is not the I am right, you are wrong kind of stubborn. That would be more Aries, for example, or in an intellectual way, more like Aquarius. I think the stubborn quality in Taurus is the length of time we need to understand that a certain perspective is not valid. It was valid, but maybe now at the present moment it's not. And then you need to change. And this is where the quality of Taurus, of being stubborn, we resist change because we're a fixed sign. We hold the flag of earth element. We know how to create, we know how to be patient and waiting for the seed to evolve. But sometimes the seed doesn't sprung into a flower or a tree, so sometimes we need to be friends more to ourselves than the seed itself, whatever the seed is. It can be a project, it can be a relationship, it can be a lifestyle. And sometimes you need to understand that although we put on all that love and energy, it still didn't work. So we need to move on to more fertile grounds. Also, the shadow self of Taurus can be, in this order of thought, sometimes quite rigid. Or moving more a little bit to the lowest aspect, and lowest without judgment, okay? Lowest as in there's an evolution, okay? There's an hierarchy here. And on the lowest we have the more materialistic Taurus, or the more hedonistic Taurus, or the Taurus that are felt on the trap on illusion of addictions. That is also part of the human condition. Okay? So let's talk more. Let's talk with the cards instead of just me talking. Okay, self-sabotage, also one aspect of, very human aspect of shadow self. So you have the Two of Wands and the Sun. which has nothing to do with shadow, but if the sun, that means your self-confidence, as I read it here, and your Two of Wands, your perspective to have faith on the future, especially on the unseen future, on the results. If this is in the shadow, that means you probably at the present moment don't believe in yourself as you should or as other people do. And you might feel stuck or have trouble at looking ahead with the Taurus mind. Taurus needs security. So if you cannot find a sense of security in your own planning of your future, this can be your career, a project, a certain change you want to make in your life, then it might be very difficult for Taurus to take action, to be quick, because we are nothing but quick. And this also reminds me a verse in the Bhagavad Gita about the results. You have the right. It is something like this, probably not exactly as I'm saying it. Like you have the right to your actions, not to the fruit of your actions. That means if you do things by heart, just by doing them, it's already enough of a reward. The reward itself is not up to you, it's not up to us in this human layer, it's up to the universe. So it's up to your karma. It's up to your personal karma, your familiar karma, the karma of your country, the current time we are living as species. So there are so many pieces in this cosmic puzzle that our human mind cannot grasp fully. I believe the more we focus on our view, on our perspective, with self-confidence, he is holding the world in his hand. So with self-confidence and awareness that you have two sticks. These sticks mean learned experiences, learned lessons. One is already conquered, and the other one, you might be passing through it. But however, these two, however you might be in the beginnings of the beginnings of the beginnings, and you have probably on the back of your mind, because this is a fire card, the need to rush it. Do not rush it. You don't want to make it born before it's time. There is a process, there is a the structure. For example, here in the Wand suit, you're going to get it in the Four of Wands. So you're only in the Two of Wands. Then comes the Three, and then comes the Four, and you have a foundation, you have a structure, you have a compromise. Okay. So your shadow self is probably not believing you are enough, not believing you can do it, and having trouble of looking ahead, looking far away. Like when you're driving and you're going on, how do you say it in English? Sorry, uma curva. I don't remember how to say it, but you're going in a very steep road and you cannot see. If you look really close, you probably cannot drive the car. So you need to look further than the obstacle, further than the challenge of going to this thing. Word I forgot in English, sorry. Yeah, just if it's resonating with you, let's just keep on this journey. If not, maybe this reading might not be for you. So this is for Taurus, Sun and Rising. As these two cards are very... The Sun is one of the best cards in the tarot deck for me. And the Two of Wands is very auspicious on how to start something new. If you have this in your shadow self, for some of you, I think this is like a temporary aspect. I think this is like a phase, like a probably not very auspicious phase you are going through in what regards of the aspect of being self-confident, being believing that you can do it, and that you can do it by yourself, and that you can do it in a way that is successful, and that you can do it in a way that has longevity. Although for some of you, don't fool yourself thinking this is temporary per se, because when I say it's temporary, I also mean that it's temporary but repeating in a pattern. So you might find yourself here now and then, and it's natural. Now and then, each one of us forget who we truly are. It's like a dance between conscious and unconscious. But I believe we are meant to, although we are bound to forget who we truly are once in a while, regardless to other circumstances, regardless to our own development, whatever it's causing this. Although we are all, it's a universal possibility for all of us, I believe we are meant to remember who we are and forget who we are in different ways. I don't think we are supposed to be neurotically repeating the same pattern. Because if you're repeating this pattern of not believing you can do it, you can make it on your own, whatever this resonates for you, make it on your own. Is it to be a single dad, a single mom? Is it to own your own business? Is it to live alone, moving from your parents' home? Is it allowing the cycle of life and your children living home because they're grown up enough to live by themselves? Whatever this means to you, make it on your own and starting again, Taurus. Whatever this means for you. And now I just, when I'm channeling, sometimes I lose it, and I lost it. It's really sometimes hard to hold the voice inside. Okay, what was I saying? Bit slow today. Give me just a moment. I'm gonna leave it at that and read another message. I am sorry. Maybe you can complete my sentence. Okay, whatever this means for you, starting again and believing in yourself. If this has happened before, okay, I know as I'm going, you're familiar with this energy. So if you're familiar with this energy, can you please go back and remember last time you had this kind of crisis, or it doesn't have to be a crisis for some of you, it's just a doubt, it's just a question that is, itching, and you go to sleep and you think about it. Can you remember when was the last time you felt like this? What did you do to cross over to the other side? Catch the boat of the Six of Swords, for example. And what greater things were waiting for you on the other side? Because usually when we unblock, it's just like, imagine you're playing, those video games. I hate video games, but I know generally how they work, and they have these levels, right? So Give me just a moment. If you're moving from one level to the other, and you've usually conquered powers. And that means you don't have to suffer in the same way. You don't have to suffer not believing you can do it by yourself and starting again and make it on your own, as you have never suffered for this matter before in your life, like it's your first time. Okay, let's move on. Okay, and how can you solve this? Some of you need to talk less about your life with others, keep your broken arm inside your sleeve. Some of you need to listen to your intuition more. Maybe you can journal about when you get like a dream, a voice, a feeling. Clairvoyance can manifest in many, many ways. Just know how clairvoyance manifests for you. And we are all spiritual beings. We all have intuition. We're all mediums to a certain extent. Of course, some people are born, it's like playing the piano, some 6-year-old kid plays the piano like a great master, and it's what it is. It's part of a talent he was born with. So, of course, some people are more gifted than others, but we all have this ability. And what I can recommend you is for you to know, how does it come to you? For me, example, it's a voice. I hear clearly in my head. I know it's not me, because I'm not that wise. And sometimes it says stuff that it makes absolutely no sense. I could never think those thoughts. And it's a voice. Some people, it's in their dreams. Some people psychograph, they close their eyes and they write messages. So it comes in many, many ways. Just know what is your most predominant channel. Spirit works to talk with you, and be attentive. Use your attention. Be on top of it. Sorry, today my English is not, I don't know. Yeah, let me just clarify the High Priestess. I also think some of you, how about following your intuition if this is something more work-related, to work in a team? Maybe, after all, you don't have to make it by yourself. First, of course, to start, you need to believe in yourself. No one's gonna want to work with someone that does not believe in themselves or in their project or in their vision. So first, take care of your own house, and then you go knock on other people's door and we the trade of coins. Maybe you can contribute with something very specific, and other people can contribute also with something very specific. If you have this calling to work with other people, or to have help, or to study a little bit more in this your new start, or asking for help, please do it. But not to anyone. The High Priestess does not trust anyone. Not that you have to be suspicious about other people, or the world is dangerous or anything like that, but be selective. High Priestess, very selective character in tarot. Okay. So what your shadow self is revealing to you is that old structures, old beliefs must fall, but because you resisted change, and you cannot talk a Taurus into changing something if they don't want to, not if everyone comes and says, listen, this is not working, you need to do something. We don't listen. We just don't listen. We just keep on trying, which is something that we do very well. But you have the Tower. The difference between the Tower and the Judgment, that is another card we see further on the deck on the journey of the major arcana, is that the Judgment allows you to do the change, the radical change, by yourself, and you do it in a conscious way. You end cycles, you cut ties, you do it by yourself. The Tower, because you didn't want to do it, it comes and do it for you, and that's why it looks very sudden. Because it is done to you. It's the universe is operating on your behalf. And it looks like it's taking away stuff, taking away. And it's stuff that you really don't need, although they might serve you in a way. Although, for example, if this is a job, you might need the money. The job gave it to you. But if this job is not where you're supposed to be, if you're losing your time, if you're not... sharing your unique talents and gifts with the world, if you are being taken advantage of, if you're not being well paid, if you're working extra and they're being promised like a fake future that will never happen is promising to you, the universe is going to say, listen, it's not of good service to you for you to choose to be there just because there are more jobs in the world. There's always a solution. You might not like it. You won't like the Tower. Let's see how this Tower plays out, because you have the Emperor here. Let me just... Okay. Yeah. You're probably sad. For some of you, something here with the Emperor, that can be a person in your life, an older person than you, can be a family member, can be a co-worker, take it as it resonates. And here with the World, the end of a cycle with the Five of Cups. So you might be wasting your energy looking too long into the abyss, the well of loss. You're looking down deep on this wealth, and it's so deep. If you want to give yourself away to sadness, you might disregard that. Usually, I'm sorry to have this card here because it's a bit old and it's ripped, but usually the Five of Cups have 3 cups that are dry and 2 cups that are still standing. There is still love here. There is still resources here. There's still a path. Of course, some of it needed to change. Sometimes the Tower comes as a radical change. Some things need to change. You cannot rule your life with your shadow. You cannot let the shadow aspect, in this case, in this reading, it's the not believing you can do it, that puts you in a place that you can be dependent on others. And usually, Taurus, you are one of the most independent zodiac signs. You are the perseverance, the self-reliant. Usually you don't even ask anyone for help, which is not necessarily good. But if most of you thinks you cannot do it by yourself and you need others, you might be at the risk of being dependent on others. You might give too much of your power away to others. That's why there is this sadness. You're not doing your share, and you might want other people to do it, and you might feel sad about it because they don't have to do your part. Let's look more into this Tower. And the Three of Swords. Okay. This is So you really need to look into this, because this shadow aspect of yourself, it has the power to hurt you a lot. And now I see another aspect here, is that probably are too perfectionist and too demanding with yourself. Listen, this is a human experience. Not believing in yourself, forgetting who you are, thinking that you can't do it. It's a good thing in a way. It means that you're an aspect of you. There's some humility in here, okay? Too much of humility, too much. But there is some. Wouldn't it be worse if you know, those people that think they're, you know, the last cookie in the desert, and they're better than anyone, and they don't respect others. Okay, 8 or 80. You don't want to be on one side, and you also don't want to be on the other side. But there is some humility here. For some reason, and for some of you, this might be connected with the archetype of a mother. For me, the moon sometimes is a not good enough mother. Not that our mothers didn't do the best they could, and it is what it is and cannot change the past. But if you hold this wound with your mother, for example, it might have the blockage, it might have the ability to create the blockage, for example, with your finances, the wound with the mother. Okay? Can go to family constellations therapy. It's a really good resource. It's very clear, it's very sharp and pointed. You see a lot of stuff. You see the other people's perspective, which is very, very valuable. Not only your own, that allows you to step out of the victim mode if you are on a victim mode. But when you have a wound, most likely you will be more prone to put yourself in the victim mode. So this aspect of your shadow self is crying out loud, please, please, like, enough suffering. You've suffered enough for this. It's enough. Let's change this. You can change this. You can teach sadness and heartbreak and disappointment and emotional illusion. You can just let it flow through you. And know that the more and more you believe in yourself, less likely the universe will want to move you harshly in new and unexpected directions. That for a Taurus is something very too intense. Too intense. But yeah, but you have Uranus in Taurus. We've been dealing with it the past few years, and we're going to keep on dealing with it. Let me just clarify a bit more. You will only be able to heal once you admit to yourself and take full responsibility of the areas on your life where you have been stuck. Where have you made less changes, not because it's already the work is done, but because you might be afraid. You might feel like you don't know where to go. If you don't know where to go, if you don't know what to choose, just don't go and just don't choose. Just sit with it. And don't try to force the answer to come to you, but just be aware, I am stuck. And once you start to take one sword, these are negative thoughts and beliefs about yourself and reality. Once you start to take one all of them fall out. It's like once you start this activity, for example, you've been delaying, once you start it, you're really closer to the finish line. It's just a problem to start, start. Don't hide, at least to yourself, where you have been stuck. Where are you repeating patterns that don't allow you to evolve, that make you feel little, like a little kid, like you cannot do it by yourself, like you need assistance. Okay. Let's see what the oracle cards have for you. Bit of a difficult reading, but this shadow self reading could never be easy. I believe you have some answers, and yeah, may you know the power of letting go. This is what it all comes to. Letting go. Easier said than done, right? Let's see. May you know the power of letting go. May you find strength, looking ahead, and then your higher self. And freedom in letting go of those things that no longer serve you. Remember, Tower? Old patterns, painful thoughts, unhappy ways of being. Bringing awareness to where it's hard to let go. Why are you hanging on so tight? Where's the freedom? Remember that a beautiful and tender flower will wilt in a clenched fist. And I say no more. Actually, I want to say one thing. I just had a private reading with a client before this reading, and I already knew I wanted to do this reading, and I read this and I said, I want to say this to Taurus. Just adding this. If there is an inner self, it means there must be also another self. As there are times and situations when one needs to shed the masks and the clothes, there are times to wear them anew. Not the old masks, perhaps, but masks of new purpose, of greater will, masks of power, masks of choice, masks of resourceful independence, masks of beauty. The appearance leads the way and the substance follows. Like a gesture can show an intent, and a decision can open a road. If you want to be what you are, the transformation acts from inner to outer. But if you want to change, the transformation must act from outer to inner. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please like and subscribe, because I think more than 90% of the viewers of this channel are still non-subscribers, and would help immensely for me to grow on Instagram, it's YouTube, on YouTube, where I'm starting this new channel in English. I have another channel in Portuguese for all signs. If you understand Portuguese language, you are more than welcome. Bye. See you soon.